Hello, everybody, and Sagittarius season is almost here. So I thought I'd do an all signs forecast. But first of all, I would like to talk a little bit about why this Sagittarius season is just going to be like trying to tame a wild horse that will not be tamed, to be quite honest. Now, horses are very associated with the sign of Sagittarius also. And Sagittarius, the archer, is seen as half man, half horse. So, already we've got that image there. But this season is going to be galloping out of the gate. And I'm going to give you a few dates and reasons why. Okay, so let me share the chart. Now, the chart will look a little strange because I've actually removed a lot of the planets that are not involved hugely in the Sagittarius season. So the sun moves into the sign of Sagittarius at, why is it? There we go. On November the 22nd at 3:20 a.m. Eastern time. Okay, that's in Washington. So early tomorrow morning, I'm recording this on November the 21st. And as you can see, when the sun moves into Sagittarius, we've got Venus and Mercury conjunct. They're conjunct just a few hours earlier. We've got asteroid Hygeia in Sagittarius also. The opposing sign has Mars in Gemini. Squaring, we have Ceres in Virgo, and I'll talk about all of this in a minute. And over here in Pisces, these are all the three mutable signs, so they all form a grand cross, right? We've got Vesta. Vesta just moved into Pisces on the November the 20th. We've got partnership asteroid Juno. We've got Nessus, who is a centaur, saying the buck stops here. We've got Neptune, the modern ruler of Pisces, and we have Jupiter, the traditional ruler of both Pisces and Sagittarius. So that's a lot of mutable energy and a lot of Sagittarius energy. Well, why do I say this is going to be an absolutely wild paradigm shifting period until the sun moves into Capricorn, which will be on the solstice on December the 21st. So we've got a whole month of wildness. Now, for a start, as the sun moves into Sagittarius, we have Venus and Mercury still combust the sun. So when planets are combust, they're hidden from our view. We can't see them. These two are actually behind the sun from our perspective. They have been traveling beneath the sun, Venus for ages and Mercury for a shorter time. But not only that, they have been involved in some very paradigm shifting energies themselves. We had the first Sun-Venus conjunction in Libra on October the 22nd, okay, and that was the first one since 1879. So that in itself is a huge shift into a Libran age of Venus star points, which are kind of like an invisible clock that moves backwards around the zodiac. And then after the Venus star point at 29 Libra, Venus and the sun have been traveling together all the way through Scorpio, all the way through the eclipses. Now, also on October the 22nd, when those two met, Mars went out of bounds. Now, when a planet's out of bounds, that means it's more than 23 degrees 27 minutes from the ecliptic. It means that, but it means more specifically that a planet is acting erratically, like a wild card itself, acting out of character, out of bound planets really kind of act a little bit very out of character. And not only is Mars out of bounds and will be until May the 4th, 2023, he then turned retrograde as well on October the 30th at 25 degrees of Gemini. So first we have Mars out of bounds. We have Mercury and Venus have been traveling combust the sun. So there's the start of why it's wild. And they were, and then Mercury was cazimi the sun on the big blood red moon eclipse. The whole eclipse happened while Mercury was in the heart of the sun, which in itself is pretty astounding also. So this is kind of setting up the wild card energy as we go into Sagittarius. So here we have it tomorrow, early tomorrow, as I'm recording this, the sun moves into Sagittarius. Venus and Mercury are still combust the sun. So then on November the 23rd, we have a new moon. So I am going to show you some of this, and then I'm going to do all signs for where this is all affecting you. So we have the moon conjunct the sun coming up on November the 23rd at 1 degree Sagittarius. At that point, Mercury will have left the combustion. He's moved more than 8.5 degrees from the sun. So Mercury is no longer combust. Venus is still just slightly combust officially, because it's 8 degrees 30 minutes. That is the degree for combustion. So they're both leaving. So they're both chomping the bit. They've been renewed under the beams of the sun. They've been renewed while they're combust. They've been changed. They've been in an underworld journey of transformation. So they're ready to go. So Mercury is out there leading the way on the new moon on Wednesday, November the 23rd at 5:57 p.m. Washington, D.C. Eastern Time. But there's more. Not only that, just less than 30 minutes before, at 5:28 p.m. on November the 23rd, right before the new moon, Mercury goes out of bounds. So now we have Mars out of bounds and Mercury out of bounds, both acting out of character. Remembering that Mercury, Venus and Mars are all personal planets. So, wow, that's crazy. We've got that happening. Okay, so then as we progress, we move to December. Venus the next day moves out of combustion, but on December the 1st, 2022, at at 5:35 p.m. 35. It's actually 5:35, 35 seconds. Like you these times you cannot make up, but anyway, Venus comes up to 19 degrees of Sagittarius. You can see that they're all still moving through Sagittarius. Mercury's still out of bounds, conjunct Hygeia. Venus on December the 1st moves out of bounds. And this is after they've both opposed Mars. Can we see what's happening in the sky here? I'm going to call this a mutable grand cross. Ceres is going to square Mars. Ceres is coming up to oppose Neptune. By the time that Venus goes out of bounds, the moon is over here in Pisces for the first quarter moon after the new moon. Mutable signs mean change. After December the 1st, we've got Mercury, Venus, and Mars all out of bounds, all acting eccentrically, all acting out of character, or causing absolutely, it's going to feel chaotic, because this is kind of new energy. It's almost like they're emerging from the beams of the sun, going blink, 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 blink. And Venus on this day is actually 10 degrees away from the sun. So whilst in traditional astrology, they can say that planets can be under the beams of the sun until they're about 16, 17 degrees apart. Some modern astrology and astronomers looking at where Venus is are seeing, you know, planets are becoming visible about 10 degrees apart. So now we've got Venus and Mercury both going, oh my God, we're renewed. We've been in this eclipse, composting energy of Scorpio, really kind of setting new seeds for new cycles. They've both started new synodic cycles, which means their cycle with the sun. The sun and Venus started theirs on October the 22nd. Then on November the 8th, Mercury and the sun started their new cycle with a conjunction. So this is just intensely crazy to have Venus, Mercury, Venus, and Mars all out of bounds and all aspecting this cross. Okay. Now, I didn't even mention that on the new moon on November the 23rd, Jupiter, that rules Sagittarius and Pisces, stations direct 5 minutes after the new moon. So we've also got the big tide turning energy. And then 2 days after Venus goes out of bounds, guess what happens? Neptune turns direct. Okay, so here we go. Look at all this. This is all direct over here. Neptune and Jupiter, they're traditional and modern rulers of Pisces. In Pisces, expansive, nebulous water sign. This is a tide turning energy. And Sagittarius and Pisces are very much to do with faith and belief. And Gemini is about what we think and how we communicate. Virgo is about how we serve and how we're useful in the world. So all of this is about how we serve through faith and belief. There's going to be a lot of kind of shifting perceptions, really difficult debates and arguments, I would imagine, as well. Mercury is said to be in detriment in Sagittarius. I always kind of object to that a little bit because I have Mars in Sagittarius, but it is what it is. We can see that even though this is not exact, you know, Neptune's such a vast sign that Mars is still really square to Neptune. And is coming back to square Juno, our partnership asteroid. The series over here in Virgo is very much about nurturing and nourishing ourselves holistically, and nurturing and nourishing others through how we serve and mentor them. So it's just kind of insane, to be quite honest. And this is going to continue right through till December the 21st, when Mercury will move back in bounds. So let's go to Mercury moving back in bounds. So there's the solstice. Everything's moved into Capricorn. So this will carry on into Capricorn season because Venus and Mercury are trotting ahead of the sun. But at that point, look at this, we have a cardinal T-square on the solstice with Jupiter and Ceres. So everything that's involved in the mutable, shifting tides of this Sagittarius season is going to be initiating on December the 21st. That is at 4:48 p.m. the ingress into Capricorn. Mercury goes back in bounds at 8:36 p.m. on December the 21st. Venus will go back in bounds on the 24th. So everything's going to have changed by December. But this mutable period and that's starting now is going to feel chaotic, and it's going to carry on as Venus and Mercury move into Capricorn as well. And one other thing I want to point out is that the moon also goes out of bounds in Gemini and Sagittarius and through Cancer and Capricorn. So every time the moon is there, then we're going to get this out of bounds chaotic energy as well. So I'm going to bring it back to November the 23rd. And on November the 23rd, oh, sorry about that. The moon is about to go out of bounds. So let me tell you exactly when the moon goes out of bounds. Bear with me. I'm just going to move forward by days after that lovely Sagittarius new moon, which I still think is very positive, even though, oh, bear with me. The moon moved, where am I? Oh, November the 23rd. There we are. So the moon, actually, right after the new moon, goes out of bounds. Okay, so I'm going to tell you hours. There we go. Early on November the 24th, the moon's still in Sagittarius. The moon goes out of bounds. And we can clearly see, really, that this is a mutable grand cross. This is kind of insane energy. So 3 out of bounds planets and an out of bounds moon when the moon is in this area of the chart and in the Gemini area of the chart, taking us through the time that the sun is in Sagittarius. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be intense. So there we have it. Wow. So I'm not going to move all the planets back. I just want to go through the all signs. But before I go through the all signs, I want to show you some tarot cards, because this Sagittarius season is so crazy, and it's bringing change in. It's bringing the change in from the new Venus star point. It's bringing the change in from the messages we may have encountered from excuse my blobs. I've been to the dermatologist and had some little things burnt off on my face. Anyway, it's just going to be crazy. So the Sagittarius card in the tarot is generally called the Temperance card. I like the Thoth tarot, or the however you say it, Thoth. Everybody says it differently. Do we really know? Anyway, it's the art card in this tarot deck, and this is the principle of integration, synthesis, and synergy. And this could not be more relevant for this period. It's such a Sagittarian energy, and Sagittarius overall is about somehow hit the wrong thing and I stopped the recording, so I am going to have to blend these two things, but anyway, that's all right. So Sagittarius is the energy of understanding, but it's always about its desire for adventure and belief, and it's about moving towards ideals. It's aspirational, it's adventurous, it's blunt, boisterous, optimistic, it's philosophical, it's a joker. I'm a Sagittarius. I've got a Sagittarius stellium. And it's very questioning and very talkative. It's very tolerant of people, not necessarily of it's intolerant of intolerance, shall we say. It's very versatile. Well, if you think about everything being out of bounds and everything being very wild card, because we're coming out of the eclipses, it's going to be more of all this. And then with the ruling planet Jupiter also shifting and turning direction right after the new moon and finishing up its time in Pisces. This is just going to be intensely crazy, to be quite honest. So the aim is to do this integration, synthesis, and synergy. I want to read you a quote that is in Anjali's Arian's book that goes with this tarot, called The Tarot Handbook. She said, it was a quote by Ken Wilber, No Boundary. The point is to unify and harmonize the opposites, both positive and negative, by discovering a ground which transcends and encompasses them both. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of give you that. These cards are for the month. When it feels wild, it's time to integrate, bring everything into center. And then this is the Jupiter card. Jupiter that rules all this heavy Pisces energy that we've got this month. This was the 14 card. So it's a 14-5, a number of change. This is the Fortune card, the Wheel of Fortune, saying that the Wheel of Fortune always turns. This is card number 10. In her book, Anjali's Arian says this is the principle of opportunity, breakthrough, and prosperity. And so I want you to look at these because it's going to feel, I think it's going to feel really uncomfortable, to be quite honest. Even when I've got a Gemini moon and a Sagittarius stellium and Sagittarius rising. And even though I'm really comfortable with kind of this chaotic kind of mutable energy, I think this is going to be so off the charts that we're all going to feel very uncomfortable. I think the news cycle is going to be just crazy. We've seen it kind of coming with all the kind of Twitter stuff and and all this social media thing, and oh, I'm going to go and try Tribal, or I'm going to go and try Mastodon, and we're all going to break off and go here and go there and go that. I would actually recommend sitting tight with those things at this point, because it's so chaotic this month that I don't think we're going to be able to make much sense out of it until we get this cardinal T-square on the solstice with Jupiter, the Sun, and Ceres saying this is how we can move forward, building something that we truly want. Okay. All right. So I'm going to do the all signs, and this was kind of a off the cuff video. I was just looking at all of this and thinking, oh my goodness, this is going to be crazy. So I'm going to do all signs, and I'm going to start with Sagittarius. Now, I'm not too worried about the exact positions of the planets, because I want to show you the houses that you're going to be impacted by. So this will apply to each sign. You look at your rising sign if you know it. Look at your sun sign secondly. And if you don't know your rising sign, look at your sun sign or listen to your sun sign. And maybe even your moon sign a little bit. So this is for Sagittarius rising. First of all, we're going to start with dear old Sagittarius rising. So this for you is going to be the first house, the fourth house, the seventh house, and the 10th house. And really, this is all about your identity. So I always think of the first house as what you project, how others see you, especially initially. It's your natural style and appearance, but it's your personality, really. It's the face that you're putting out there. Sagittarius is you're going to put yourself out there more wildly than ever. And then we've also got this Pisces energy in the fourth house, which is the nature of your inner private life, the basis of security, the type of home you create and prefer. It could be the family of origin and one of the parents. This, you're going to feel very connected to source and connected to the past and the collective unconscious. This is our inner home as well. So this is who we are in our home, in our family, deep inside. All this Pisces energy has clearly been there for a while, but we've got the changing tides of Jupiter turning direction, and we've got all the Sagittarius energy squaring the Pisces energy over the Sagittarius season, saying, who am I who am I showing up as, but who am I also deep inside? I think there's a big call to meditation for Sagittarius rising and time alone, processing, needing that time. In the seventh house over here, this is your relationship house. It's all significant relationships, what you attract, the nature of your relationships, all significant others, including your partner, and your patterns in relationships and how you compromise yourself for others. Also, things you don't like in others, your disowned self that you see in others. You'll be reconsidering this. You might be reconsidering some of your very significant relationships through this time, Sagittarius rising. And then the 10th house is your public reputation, your mission in life. Often said to be the career house, but I see it more as the mission, your real, what you desire to show up as publicly. And this is in Virgo, and this series is there about how do you really want to serve? How do you really want to show up to serve publicly? Okay. So I will say, no, I won't say anything. Capricorn, this is for you, is in the cadent houses. So these are the kind of most hidden houses. This is not going to be an easy time for you because these houses tend to mean change is coming, and these are mutable signs also. And this is really going to say that you're changing perceptions. You are going to be changing a lot of your beliefs. The 12th house is the place of mystery and connection with the collective unconscious in a big way, or all forms of altered states. The connection with the cosmic soup. The 3rd house is perceptions, siblings, but also what you think, how you learn, how you perceive, and the voice. And the 6th house is how you serve. It's service, it's mentorship, it's daily routines and work. And this is the 9th house, sources of expansion and inspiration. There's going to be big changes for you in all those areas, Capricorn. Okay, Aquarius. This for you is in the succeedent houses. So the Sagittarius energy is in the 11th house. 11th house is friends, groups, organizations, causes, social conscience. The 2nd house is your self-esteem, your self-worth, how you earn your money. The 5th house is joy, children, creative self-expression, play, hobbies. And the 8th house is your deeply bonded relationships and shared resources. For you, there's going to be big shifts in all those areas this month, and it's all going to feel a little bit chaotic. For example, you may want to expand out into I don't know, some kind of social cause, but yet it kind of does it really bring me joy? Does it affect my relationships, my deeply bonded relationships? And does it affect how I earn my money? Pisces. Oh, Pisces, you're actually kind of going to be kind of a little bit more comfortable with this, I think. You're shooting your arrows out into the world. Big changes coming out there, and a big shift of the face you put out into the world. You may be rethinking your actual physical home and where you live, and you may even decide that a move will help you with this big expansion of faith and belief that you're putting out in the world. People are really going to start to see you as this very spiritual kind of person, putting belief before everything. And then this is how you nurture your significant relationships, making them whole through everything, all the adjustments that come from all of this. So Aries, this you're in the cadent houses, also the more hidden houses. This is though, but Sagittarius likes this house. Sources of expansion and inspiration are going to kind of blow your mind through your connection with the unconscious, and it's going to be coming out to how you serve others. Okay. And your voice, you are going to temper your voice. Mars being your ruling planet, you're going to come in and you're going to say, I need to be a little kinder. I need to be a little less assertive. Aries can be very assertive and very out there. I think you're going to shift that over this month. Okay, Taurus. The Sagittarius energy is in your 8th house of shared resources and your deep psyche and your most deeply bonded relationships. You'll be perhaps seeking some sources of expansion and inspiration with your loved ones. It could be a good time to take up Tantra, in fact. Mars in Gemini is in the 2nd house. You'll be kind of perhaps rethinking how you earn your money, okay, and moving towards this deeper connection with your partner in life, or deeply bonded relationships. The Pisces energy is in your 11th house of social causes. You're going to feel very big compassion for the world. For your big humanitarian energy is going to be ignited as well in this period. And it's going to bring you great joy to serve others, but it's going to feel very different to anything you've done before, Taurus. Gemini. Okay, Gemini. So for you, again, like Sagittarius, this is all about your identity, but with a big focus on your mission in life, on showing yourself to be very compassionate and very intuitive. And this Sagittarius energy in your 7th house means you're going to say, come on, let's get out and have some fun. Let's go find some freedom. Or you may be seeking freedom from others in your relationship, with so much Sagittarius in your 7th house. And the 4th house with Ceres is kind of saying, it's time to really put yourself first. Okay. You know, Gemini, you're a social butterfly. You like to be chitty chatty and a bit gossipy maybe, and you're lots of fun. But Ceres in the 4th house for you on this mutable grand cross, it's time to say, look, maybe it's time to look after myself a little bit first. And Mars in Gemini in the 1st house, retrograde, is also saying kind of rethink putting myself first. Okay. Cancer. So Cancer, for you, there's a whole lot here about service and mentorship, and the freedom it gives you, or the kind of source of expansion and inspiration it gives you, and idealism around service. You may be out there and saying, I want to start a charity, or start a non-profit, or go and work for a non-profit and do some real good somewhere. And then Pisces is up in the house that is the source of higher knowledge and philosophy and expansion. So you are going to be really expanding your service muscle, I'm going to say. Okay. In many ways, I'm not going to go through every house, but that's kind of the big kind of energy for you. Leo, this is in your realm. Okay, the Sagittarius energy. It's time to get out there and have some fun, and to really say, what brings me joy, what makes me feel, light my heart up and makes my heart feel free. Okay, and how can I bring that in to this connection with my most deeply bonded relationships, or the exploration of hidden things that lie beneath? And then you may be rethinking some groups that you're involved with as well. Maybe some groups are no longer lighting you up and bringing you joy. Maybe you need to change out who you hang out with and what groups you're connected with, what groups of friends, organizations, and how you earn your money. Ceres in Virgo. Ceres loves Virgo, and it's very holistic. And Ceres says it's time to really serve and earn money through feeling very useful in my life. Okay. And Virgo. Oh, we're nearly all the way around. Virgo, there's a lot going on for you in your inner life, and you're going to feel an almost mystical connection with significant people in your life. The trouble with Pisces being in this area of the chart, so much Pisces, is that you may have some very leaky boundaries. And that's why Ceres in Virgo is saying, nurture yourself first before you give to others. Okay, because the tendency for you during this period will be to overgive, whereas the change that you're being asked to do differently, is put yourself first, put your inner life first, put yourself first. Lots of self-love, self-care, less focus on being out there and being driven to do for others. Virgo loves to do for others. Libra. So Libra, for you, this is your voice. Okay, you can see how this Grand Cross builds over this coming week. But this is saying you're going to find a lot of idealism and things about speaking your truth. Okay, and less inclination to think that others' truth is right, listening to others. This is more about kind of going, I've learned so much, I know so much. Libra, you love to be peacekeepers, but now it's time to step into your inner knowing, and then move that into being useful to others through some kind of compassionate, kind of healing kind of energy. Okay. Last but not least, Scorpio. It's all about your self-esteem, your self-worth, Scorpio, and really kind of putting yourself out there, saying, I know how good I am. This is my truth. I can speak it. I can be it. I can live it. I don't have to kind of be reliant on others anymore. That doesn't mean you're not in partnership with others, but less kind of tendency to merge, which Scorpio has a lot of times, and a lot of creative expansion, creative self-expression, bringing you out to feeling useful and serving other groups of people. So it's kind of a crazy month, really. It's both beautiful, but then I love Sagittarius because lots of Sagittarius energy here, wearing red for this video, but it's going to be chaotic. And all the areas of life that I've talked about for each sign, there's going to be a lot of changing perceptions, changing ideas, a lot of letting go of what you thought to be true, moving into what is really true for you. And so hold on to your hats. You're being asked to step into something that really you've never been before. We are kind of emerging like phoenixes from a fire, from these eclipse energies, and it's so new that we're all kind of like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to be in this new world. Okay, so lots of self-love, lots of self-care, and have a wonderful Sagittarius season. And Capricorn season is going to start with a bang with that cardinal T square, but I'll come back to talk about that more later. Much love.